Young Sheldon's series finale explained the jokes about George Sr. and the Big Bang Theory, revealing his true character as a sweet family man. The spin-off cleverly justified why Sheldon and Mary spoke poorly of George Sr., reconciling the differing portrayals between the two shows. George Sr.'s death in young Sheldon made Georgie more dedicated and Sheldon more self-important, shedding new light on the Big Bang Theory's jokes. Although young Sheldon and the Big Bang Theory painted two very different pictures of Sheldon's father, George Sr., the spin-off series finale explained this obvious disparity. Young Sheldon's cast of characters were all mentioned in the Big Bang Theory, but only the title character played a main role in both shows. Missy, Meemaw, and Georgie only appeared in 1 or 2 episodes of the Big Bang Theory, and even Sheldon's mother Mary showed up only once or twice a season. In contrast, the Cooper family made up the main characters of the show's first spin-off, Young Sheldon. Although Young Sheldon's ending explained what became of Sheldon after the Big Bang Theory ended, the spin-off's finale didn't devote too much screen time to the future of Sheldon's family. Georgie and Missy's older selves weren't seen, although the long-awaited death of Sheldon's father, George Sr., allowed the spin-off to set up Mary's intense religious devotion in the Big Bang Theory. However, despite not giving viewers a glimpse of the Cooper family's future, Young Sheldon's series finale did finally answer one mystery by explaining why Sheldon and Mary spoke so poorly of George Sr. in the original show. When a tearful Missy demanded to know why mourners were mocking their late father in their speeches at his funeral, Georgie told Missy that people were making jokes at George Sr.'s expense because they loved him. This was a touching sentiment, and also a clever way to justify the claims Mary and Sheldon made about George Sr. in the original show. Throughout the Big Bang Theory, Mary and George Sr. frequently wrote Sheldon's father off as a drunk, a fool, a layabout, and a philanderer. Surprisingly, young Sheldon proved he was secretly a sweet, well-meaning family man. Although some of young Sheldon's wilder George Sr. storylines did see the character get into a few wacky scrapes, he was still always portrayed as an essentially decent everyman. George Sr.'s flaws weren't substantial enough to adversely affect his children, and he always stood up for them when they needed him. The Big Bang Theory's Sheldon and Mary mocked George Sr. because they remembered him fondly, much like the funeral attendees who made the jokes that upset Missy. George Sr. had a big heart, so he wouldn't have begrudged people for finding light in such a dark time. The Big Bang Theory's George Sr. stories were almost all embarrassing. Young Sheldon's heroes remembered George Sr. with a laugh. From Leonard claiming Sheldon's father started a fight with a cactus to Sheldon saying George Sr. tried to share a beer with him when he was 11, to Mary calling him a dumbass, to Sheldon referring to his parenting as coasting. No one in the Big Bang Theory had a kind word to spare for George Sr. This would make sense if he was a terrible father, but it would also add up if he was a patient, laid-back guy with a good sense of humor. Unlike Sheldon, George Sr. never asked people to take him seriously. As the show drew to a close, young Sheldon mocked its biggest issue by noting that Sheldon wasn't all that young anymore. He was growing into the obstinate, self-important character viewers knew and loved from the Big Bang Theory, which contrasted distinctly with his easygoing father.